you can't get any comment.
Slight change of plans, gentlemen. It looks like I'm only going to call one of you to the stand.
Wait, why?
Well, because your testimony is largely a duplication. If I call both of you, it looks like overkill. It doesn't matter to me, Detective, so if you want to choose, go ahead.
Wait, excuse me, but excuse me. Think I'm the one who makes the call here? I guess if one of us can only take the stand, then I guess it should be David. He's the one that found the gloves in Michelle's bed.
Okay. Your first up.
Okay. What was that about? Somebody being biased? Okay. Guess I was wrong. I'll see you inside.
Frank, what's the matter with you? Why the hell did you do that? You know that Grant is trying to nail Michelle.
Besides you, he's the only other person that knows that Michelle killed your brother. It's me.
That was self-defense. Mick was trying to rape Michelle.
It doesn't matter. If the jury finds out that she killed your brother, all they're going to look at her is being a murderer. What you want?
Court is about to begin. Please take your seats.
Michelle, I don't want any outbursts. If you feel angry or frustrated, you have to keep it to yourself. Do you understand me?
Michelle, we're calling for you.
All the way, okay?
Here.
All rise. Court is now in session. The State versus Michelle Santos. The Honorable Judge Daniels presiding.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, before we begin, as I stated to you this morning in my instructions, this is a capital murder case. That means that if this defendant, Ms. Santos, is found guilty of the charges against her, one of the sentencing options presented to you may be death by lethal injection. Now, one of the reasons you were chosen as jurors was that you stated you would be able to impose the death penalty if so directed. If any of you have had a change of heart in this regard, you must tell the court now before we proceed. Very well. Let us begin.
The charge against Michelle Santos is murder in the first degree. That means that the shooting death of Ben Warren was a cold, premeditated act. During the course of this trial, you will hear a witness testify that she saw Miss Santos leaving the scene of the crime, stuffing something into her handbag, as if she'd just gone shopping.
How can she say that? She's lying.
These are opening remarks. You get an awful lot of leeway. Don't worry, we'll have our turn.
You will also hear that the police found a pair of leather gloves in Michelle Santos's dresser drawer. Gloves that were soaked in blood. Ben Warren's blood. You'll also learn from an array of experts that Mr. Warren was not only shot once, but as he dragged himself across the floor, bleeding to death, desperately trying to escape his assailant, he was shot a second time. Indeed, the evidence will show that the death of Ben Warren was no crime of passion, no act of self-defense. No, this was a cruel and brutal act, committed with calculation and with cold-hearted purpose. The taking of a human life under any circumstances, but particularly under these circumstances, deserves to be punished to the fullest extent of the law. Mr. Warren deserves justice. His family deserves justice. And all I ask is that you give it to them. Thank you.
Mr. Mahler.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, in Ms. Wolf's opening remark, she said that Ben Warren's murder was, quote, cruel and a brutal act of violence, unquote. And I believe anybody who has even a passing knowledge of this case would agree with that. The DA is correct in phrasing it that way. However, so much of what else she said, upon examination, makes very little sense. And first and foremost, and this goes to the heart of the matter, let us deal with the bloody gloves. Now then, Ms. Wolf said that the killer was ruthless, cold-hearted, someone who meticulously planned everything out. Well, then, if that is the case, why did a person like this bring home evidence? And I'm speaking now of the blood-stained gloves, and without any attempt to launder them or clean them in any way. Put these blood-stained gloves together, fold them, and place them ever so neatly into a dresser drawer. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, this sounds monumentally stupid. And Michelle Bauer Santos is not a stupid person. She graduated second in her high school class. She's currently a pre-med student. She's on the dean's list, and she's not only smart, she's kind, a generous woman, civic-minded, has never been in trouble with the law, not once, not even a parking ticket. And for years, she has been a volunteer at Cedars Hospital, where her father, Dr. Edward Bauer, was once chief of staff. So, to characterize this intelligent and kind young woman as a cold-blooded killer who's wandering around bungling the evidence simply does not make any sense. And even if you could believe that Michelle was capable of this horrific crime, if she was smart enough to get rid of the gun, why on God's green earth would she keep the gloves? The gloves, which are far easier to dispose of than a gun. And what about the clothes that she was supposedly wearing? Later on, you will hear testimony that if not saturated, those clothes were spotted with blood. So what happened there? Did she just ditch the clothes and then suddenly decide, I'll keep the gloves? You see, that doesn't make any sense either. Unless Michelle was being set up by the real killer. The real killer. Someone who had it in for Ben Warren, and there were many such people. So as this trial continues, I want you to keep that phrase in mind, that Michelle was set up by the real killer. Also, I want you to keep in mind the word, or rather the family name, Santos, because I dare say you are going to hear that name over and over again. In fact, the district attorney said it 7 times in her opening remarks, which must be some sort of semantic achievement. And the reason she says it is that she wants to conjure up in your mind an image of a family whose business is crime and cruelty and violence. The prosecution case is so flawed that she needs this mental image in your minds, this dark and dangerous image of Michelle as one of them. And yes, indeed, she is married to Danny Santos. But Mr. Santos does not work for his family. He does not live with his family. Michelle and Danny do not live in some cliché gated mob compound. On the contrary, they are building a very modest home somewhere near Laurel Falls, and while it's under construction, to save money, they are staying with her brother, Dr. Rick Bauer. Now, what I'm saying is it is almost common knowledge that Danny and Michelle are a respected young couple in this community. But you would never know that to hear Ms. Wolf tell it. According to the district attorney, you are going to hear Santos, Santos, Santos. And I will let you in on a little secret. That is a technique that lawyers use. It is called demonizing the accused. And you can take it from me. You can go a long, long way with this technique without ever bumping in to the truth. So, in this atmosphere of innuendo and false accusations, here sits Michelle. Up until a few months ago, her only worry was how many credits am I going to take next semester. But now here she sits, fighting for her life. And she is literally fighting for her life. And why is that? Because she marched down the aisle with Danny Santos? Does that make any sense to you? What is this? Guilt by marriage? I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that the prosecution's case does not make any sense. And if it doesn't make any sense, by definition, there is reasonable doubt. And if there's reasonable doubt, you can come to only one verdict, and that is acquittal. Now, I want you to do me a favor, and during the course of this trial, demand that the things you hear make sense before you use them to come to any conclusion. And if you do that, I think you will very quickly acquit my client. Thank you for listening.
All right, let's move on. Is the state ready to present its case, Ms. Wolf?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would like to call Detective David Grant.